Coming up on this edition of Carolina Insider,
I mean, in a way, it's like you're missing out on something.
find out why international athletes are excluded from benefits. Also ahead, Gen Z considers hot-button issues when lining up for early voting. But first, a fire at a local barbecue spot causes a chain reaction. Carolina Insider starts now. Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Vivek Crowe. Our top story today, fans and employees of one local barbecue chain could be back in business by this weekend. Over the weekend, a late-night fire destroyed the headquarters of Maurice's Piggy Park on Charleston Highway in West Columbia, putting 200 people out of work. Today, the facility is in shambles, and all 8 locations in Lexington and Richland counties are shut down. The headquarters was not just full of offices, but home to the chain's distribution center, leaving the business low on supplies. According to an interview on Watch Fox, the CEO says they hope to have 7 locations back open by the end of this weekend, except of course the one on Charleston Highway. If you're driving around campus, a construction project could delay your ETA. At the intersection of South Main and Pendleton Streets, just south of the State House, the South Carolina Department of Transportation is changing traffic patterns, widening sidewalks, and adding bike lanes. The SCDOT says the changes will improve safety and enhance the appearance of the area. The project is expected to be finished next summer. In the meantime, flaggers will help drivers navigate the area. In political news, with just 4 days left of voting in this year's election, the presidential race continues to be tight. Some specific groups are playing a key role in the outcome, including young voters. Here with more on that from the Blatt PE Center on campus is Delaney Flanagan. Delaney?
That's right, Vivek. I'm standing right outside Blatt PE Center, where people are lining up for early voting for this year's election. We've been out here for a couple hours now, talking to people about what specifically Gen Z voters should look out for in this process. Let's take a look.
Definitely, abortion rights is really important to me.
Probably like gun issues and things like that.
I think making sure the economy is going to be sustainable for us in the future, like buying houses and things like that, I think is also big important.
As the end of the election draws near, both presidential candidates are catering extra to Gen Z voters. Last week, Donald Trump made an appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast, aiming to target Gen Z men. And Beyoncé joined Kamala Harris at her rally in Houston. Both candidates have also used social media campaigns to reach Gen Z voters.
Tomorrow is the deadline for early voting, so if you're registered in Richland County, be sure to get to the polls. Back to you in the studio, Vivek.
Thanks, Delaney. When deciding who to vote for, the job market is an important topic of concern for many young voters. One report shows why the major you choose could have more to do with your future than the outcome of the presidential race. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, these are the 4 majors more likely to struggle during their job search. Art history, liberal arts, fine arts, and aerospace engineering all face unemployment rates around 8%. College athletes who want to make money and a name for themselves has gotten into the game of NIL deals, but one particular group can't cash in. Carolina Insider's Emily Cundiff explains.
Benjamin Bosman Verdonk, who grew up in Belgium, is one of the 3 known Division I basketball players that are pursuing a degree in law school. Even with this remarkable accomplishment, he is unable to get any NIL deals.
The checks are not so little anymore, and I think it's only going to keep on growing. So, yeah, I mean, in a way, it's like you're missing out on something.
A swimmer at the University of South Carolina, Michael Leitravosky, competed at the Tokyo Olympics for Israel and is also unable to get any deals for himself in America because of these restrictions.
I thought about getting an NIL once, and then I got the sad message of you can't have one.
In 2021, the NCAA allowed student athletes to profit from their personal brand. But for the international athletes who come from the U.S. on F1 student visas, this opportunity is not possible. This rule comes from the U.S. immigration law, which does not allow visa holders to earn money outside of those specific rules. NIL deals are considered employment, which can jeopardize an international athlete's visa and scholarship. The only way for these athletes to make a brand for themselves would be if they competed in their home country.
The money that's being thrown around and like the amounts that guys are getting to play and not play, like, is obscene.
For Carolina Insider, I'm Emily Cundiff.
Speaking of sports, after a 4-week hiatus, the Gamecocks will play under the lights of Willie B this weekend. That story tops today's Carolina calendar. Kickoff against Texas A&M is at 7:30 on Saturday, and you can watch the game live on ESPN Plus if you're not in the stadium. With Election Day approaching this Saturday, this will be the last day for early voting. As we mentioned earlier, Blatt PE Center will be open until 6 p.m. for Richland County voters, and tonight, West Columbia's Fall Back Fest will be taking place at 5:30 at the corners of State and Meeting Streets. The event is free to the public and will feature live music, food and beverages, and murals painted by local artists. That's it for this edition of Carolina Insider, a student production here in the Kennedy Greenhouse studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communications. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks.